Welcome to Story Van TV. I'm Bonnie Dixon, and today I have John Javier with us today, and he is the founder of Less Work. Doesn't that sound amazing? Less Work. And I met John on Happy Neighborhood Project, and we both go to that, the online networking that is so much fun. And out of that, I was so intrigued with hearing Less Work. And so, John, can you tell us your story of how you got started Less Work?
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Bonnie, for having me, first of all. And yeah, less work is just a word that we just came up when we're so exhausted, when I had my corporate career. Like there was one time when I was working for a corporate, I was working in corporate sales wherein I have so much task to do that I realized the only thing that I wanted to do right now is actually get rid of these tasks. So that's a time when I hired a virtual assistant. So this virtual assistant is that person that helps me out, um, do some tasks that I do not like to do. Like me, I'm a people person, but it's just that like writing notes and having to edit things and creating reports is just so difficult for me because it takes up a lot of my time. And my wish at that time was if only I could have an hour or two of my time to spend on other things that could mean so much. So what happened in the pandemic? I was in corporate sales, but when doing the in-person sales wasn't relevant anymore, I just decided that maybe I need to have new skills. So I joined a virtual assistant company wherein I was the head salesperson, bringing business to the virtual assistant company. And I just realized the struggles and challenges of small business owners, wherein, they wanted to grow their business, they want to scale, but their capability to grow their business is limited by the amount of time that they can delegate to their business. And if they try to stretch themselves too much, they kind of dilute their efforts because they cannot focus on their superpowers. Typically, when there's typically business owners, their typical superpowers is closing deals, building relationships, and reaching out to people. But when you're just overwhelmed with so many tasks, like trying to set up appointments, trying to create graphics for your content, trying to edit your own videos, it just takes away opportunities that you could have taken on if you had extra time. So I created this business called Less Work Solutions. It's an innovation of the virtual assistant company that I used to work for. And what I try to help entrepreneurs in is helping them focus on things that really matter and things and their enhances their capability to work on their business. And
Yes, that's what I picked up on. What it was, as I shared this with you earlier, is a dear friend who's a professional organizer taught me in 2006, do what you do best and hire out the rest. And when you do that, as you just shared, their time is so valuable. If they do what they do best, they actually increase their reach, they increase their revenue because they're not doing little things that actually someone else might be better and faster at. If they took their hour and they used it what they do best, revenues can skyrocket. So you multiply yourself using a company like yourself that has professionals ready, willing, and able to do the job for them.
absolutely, Bonnie, and to add to that, not only a lot of entrepreneurs, those who are expert solopreneurs, a lot of them can do everything, right? They're really good at what they do, but it ends up them getting overwhelmed. So is that clarity and mental space to actually have a break and not have to do some of the things that is an opportunity to re-strategize and become creative. And you
Mhm.
just never know. A lot of entrepreneurs these days, they say you have to grind and hustle, lose sleep.
Mhm.
It's not really truthful, because there's if you know there's an opportunity to delegate, it can mean so much for your
Mhm.
mental health and your opportunity to get more um, people and clients going your way.
I agree with you, John. When people say I'm grinding it out, who wants to do that? Who want to work with ease and grace and feel good about what they're doing? You can go grind it out in a job somewhere, or you can work smarter, not harder. And what is some of the most common things that people ask your company to do?
Yes, that's a good question, Bonnie. So, at the advent of the 21st century, or sorry, the advent of the post-pandemic era, like when people have started to become competitive in the digital arena, it's just a must that people should get on social media, because uh, more people are less and less buying things in person, going to the malls. They're more and more going to social media to buy things, not even in Google. Like they say in 2021, the most downloaded app is TikTok, and you can actually buy things there. You can buy things in Instagram. People, the new generation, are starting to buy things on Instagram. Now, I'm not promoting that everybody should get to those platforms to sell things, but in 5 to 10 years, these social media platforms are becoming relevant, and so you should make sure that you have some sort of presence there in order to be relevant in 5 to 10 years from now. That's if you're planning to still be in business in 5 to 10 years. And so the most in demand task that people are asking for me is to help them create content, create videos, have them edited, and get their social media presence out there. Because not only it's good for your social media presence, it's also good for uh, generating leads, because you and I met in the networking event called Happy
Mhm.
Neighborhood Project. I certainly think that creating posts and content right after attending along with attending networking events is really helpful, because these people that you meet there in the events, they tend to like you, and if they start to like your post and comment on it, it spreads the word out. So it's like a complementary activity that helps your sales and marketing efforts.
That is a great tip, John. I will make sure from now on, like I might think of something during you've had a conversation while you're networking, think, oh, I got to touch that person. Oh, that's a good thing I've learned. But to do it right after and say, this is where I was and this is what I was doing, I think is a great idea. I do a little posting for a friend of mine, and each time I do a post of him in a photo, it's incredible how many hits he gets because he's very handsome, and uh, and I'll do other posts, but the other post was a dog. Pets seem to bring out the best in everybody. They like pets, but um, when you're working with a client and you learn their style so that you can post for them.
Absolutely. So I do think that every entrepreneur is different in some way. They have this special kind of quirk and special kind of talent that different people resonate with. And like the typical entrepreneurs I help are typically business coaches, consultants, and therapists. And
Mhm.
so it's a must for them to have their own personal brand.
Mm.
So when it comes to, so that's why when I create posts, we create posts and we help them uh, curate their work. It's really important that they put their personal brand on it, because those are the type of people that will attract them,
Mhm.
get attracted to them.
So you're not doing a cookie cutter thing. You're doing like really basically custom stuff to really make that person really pop out on their social media.
Absolutely. So their personal flair is really important to make things happen because they attract people who are more like them, for
I
sure.
like that personal flair.
Yes.
What would you say after social media? What would be the other biggie that people go, "Oh man, help me, help me."
Okay. Yeah, that's a good question. Like, I also work with a lot of um, people who are creating events. When the people are creating events, maybe it's a networking event, a speaking event, a webinar. The thing is, it's one thing to actually prepare and create your content, but in order for a successful event to happen and get more and more people to come in, you got to invite people. And inviting people it doesn't require you to be there. You just need extra hands and extra time. So if you're really focused on creating a good content and you care about having people attend the event, like there was this one time where I one of my clients, he has this networking event. um, there were like 100 people. Well, there was a previously he had 100 attendees, and there's only around 20% who showed up in the event. But once I helped them, and we actually sent out invitations to all of the people who attended, who posted that they will attend, we actually got the attendees to 60%. So there's
That's
40
pretty
more
good.
attendees just out of sending invitations. That could mean so much for your business.
Yes, yes. It's funny that we think, oh, it's only a little bit, but a little bit could actually mean a lot of revenue if, if you increase that amount of people that come to something. That person might really be the one that explodes your business for you just by having them come to an event. It's
Yes,
amazing exponentially.
yes,
So what you do is you exponentially help the business person create a bigger footprint, a bigger place on the marketplace so that they can be seen, heard, and then people can actually purchase from them.
absolutely. So we're all about, me personally, my background is sales and marketing, and I'm all about getting more social media presence, getting more out there because everybody's living busy lives. They're more focused on what they need to do every day. So if I think if you can just get somebody's help to actually reach out to them and get them attracted or interested in your business, that can mean so much because it's a competitive world out there, Bonnie, and you gotta put your A game in if you want to stand out.
Exactly. So are there any other services that you offer that might be of interest to our audience today?
Absolutely. So we were talking about creating social media posts and getting the word out there. But one before you actually get your word out there and set up a one-on-one meeting with you on a networking event, I think it's very important to actually create a authentic and a superb profile. So
Mm,
we actually help entrepreneurs to also build their website and edit them,
mhm,
create marketing materials
mhm.
to enhance their portfolio because I tell people before they go on a one-on-one meeting, people have already checked out your profile.
That's right.
Uh, they check your LinkedIn, they check your website, and they check your marketing materials. And there's no blind dates anymore. And if those materials are not as on par with what they expect, it's kind of like there will be a less likely chance that they would not go on a date. So they're
Well, I
gonna
have a
have to
question
make
for you. I have a question for you. So my LinkedIn is more business, it's my business oriented. My
yeah.
Facebook's all personal stuff, more or less. Does
Hmm.
that matter, or do you have to have them kind of in alignment?
um I think you know it's a tricky question because some people, it really depends on how open you are. some people are more private when it comes to personal stuff. And so I think but you cannot deny the fact that there's also opportunities on Facebook. So my suggestion is, if your business is B2B oriented or business to business, then you should be um, more business to business in LinkedIn. But if you're looking to target consumers and regular people, then you should consider adding more business information in Facebook as well.
Interesting. I'll have to have you check this out with me.
Yes.
So what do you think about some of the other social media of, say, Instagram, or not Instagram, Alignable? I've seen a lot of Alignable lately.
Alignable.
Hmm.
Um, Funny because in Alignable, I have not been in Alignable, so I haven't used that platform. But I've heard a lot of good things that people can get business from
I think
Alignable.
from what I've seen, it's getting better and better. At first, I thought it was kind of hokey, but now it seems like it's getting its game on.
Yes, I think Alignable is very local. It's like finding opportunities within your area.
Mhm.
I just thought Alignable is not for me because since it's very local and my business is international. We deal with
True.
businesses all over the world, so
Do
it
you?
doesn't
And
matter where they're
so
at.
that's very cool because we are basically international. All of us are anymore, being
Yes.
on Zoom like this. Yeah. And so it seems pretty incredible to have a company that we could call, like yourself, Less Work, have us help us while we're wherever we're at, and then actually get an explosion of business. But I think what I also hear you say is it's the constancy of purpose of getting
Mhm.
this information out. It's not just all or nothing, it's all in something. And if you have a plan for your business and you have kind of a vision for it, that your company, Less Work, can help them get there.
Absolutely. So yeah, the thing is, nobody has ever built a a an expansive and large business on their own. You have to find extra help. And if you're the kind of business that wants to grow, you're gonna have to need extra hands. And Less Work is the type of company that helps solopreneurs branch out because it could be difficult. Maybe it's you don't want to hire. It doesn't make sense for you to hire a part time or a full time. You just need to delegate an hour or two a day. Then we can hold your hands and get you there. And Less Work is the way to go.
I love that. That would give people comfort, and it would give them someone to call and work with when you're partnering with a company like yours. And so tell us a couple reasons why we should use Less Work.
Thank you so much for that question, Bonnie. Um, so there's definitely opportunities to find virtual assistants anywhere. You could find in platforms online, but the challenge is that 80% of virtual assistant and employee relations end up badly. For some reason, it didn't work out. And the main reason for that is communication, I have to say. Um, well, first thing, when you try to look for a virtual assistant online, you become your own HR. And as an entrepreneur, you're probably not well versed in checking the background and conducting a proper interview and identifying who is actually a good candidate. So that one thing is that we take that off your hands, and you can guarantee that you have a vetted virtual assistant who has
Mm,
years of experience, and we actually train them constantly because marketing is a dynamic environment, so we
mm,
constantly update them and equip them with the right technology to make sure that they can do the job at hand. And secondly, for all of the virtual assistants that you will hire with Less Work, we have a middle manager who will facilitate the communication between the employer and the virtual assistant. Because the challenge, the main reason why uh, task and the virtual assistant and employee relations don't work is sometimes it's because they didn't really understand each other. Maybe the virtual assistant did not understand the task at hand, and they're just too shy to ask, or they may feel stupid because if they ask, they would feel stupid or something, or or sometimes the employer is not really good in giving instructions. They don't know what they want. So we solved that problem by actually having a middle manager to add to enhance the opportunity to understand each other, and at the same time check the quality of work. You don't want to be checking every minute, every hour to see how the things are going. So these are the conveniences of working with us, Less Work Solutions. We get a good communication, a proper expectations, and you don't have to be your own HR. It's like when you buy a dog, you don't necessarily want to. I'm not saying maybe I'm not sure if this is a good analogy, but when you just want some task done, you don't want to take somebody to the vet. You don't want to take care of the things that you don't necessarily want to take care of. You just want to
Right.
get the task done and get the results, and
Right.
we're the company to do that.
I like that. I like that. So the opportunities to work with you a little or work with you a lot. Your company's flexible. You have checks and balances. You have
Yes,
trained staff, and what you're really going for is a long-term relationship, a communication where everybody's happy. And I really like that. Like you said, who wants to be the HR of hoping? I know there's some services, the $5 thing online, but you don't know that person at the other end. And it could take
yes,
time and energy to vet them out, whereas you're covered. And what I understand are you have some great pricing as well. And
absolutely.
that's another thing. We are small businesses, we are solopreneurs. Until we get going, sometimes uh, it's not always we say, well, it's not in our budget. But I
Mhm.
believe if they have a conversation with you, John, they're going to find out what their budget is, and that you
Yes,
would work with them, knowing that I know from just talking to you and going to your website, you have some very good pricing. So it's a worthwhile conversation with John and Lesswork.solutions to find out where your life can be of ease with less work and maybe more play.
yes, absolutely. Hopefully, if you can, the thing is, you have to do less work in order for you to think about even playing, or
Exactly. Exactly.
so.
Well, John, it has just been a pleasure today to learn how the entrepreneur can actually smooth out their day. They have options and why you'd want to come and find out a little bit more from you and going to less work and have a conversation. Yeah.
Absolutely, it's been a pleasure, and yeah, thank you, Bonnie, for the interview.
Yeah. Well, let's all of us take the time to take a deep breath and have a wonderful rest of your day. And thank you again from Story Van TV and Less Work Solutions. See you next time.
You.